like I said, primary search is quick, it's fast. You're not going to go in every nook and cranny in the house. But once you start a secondary search, when everything's calmed down, then you can go into every closet and actually pull out, pull beds apart, pull couches apart, tear furniture apart if you need to. If there's somebody, someone in there, and that more than likely they've died. That's the difference between the two. When you get on scene, most times it's not going to be your call, it'll be whoever's riding in charge. But they're going to look at what hazards are on scene right now. So if you've got a fire that is blowing out the roof and out the windows on 3 sides of the house, you're going to want to send in a crew, right off the bat to try and rescue somebody. If it's a heavy fire conditions, you can try and get the fire under control first. On the other side of that, if you've got just smoke showing and no fire, you could send a search team in without a handline. So it just all depends on what's going on at the scene at the time. When you get into the building, typically you're going to do either a right or a left-hand search pattern. And if you do the left-hand search pattern, it means you're going to travel along the left side of the building. And a right-hand search pattern, you're going to go to the right. In a perfect world, if we had full crews on all the trucks that came in, you would conduct both. You would do a left and a right, and at some point during the search, the 2 crews would meet up in the middle somewhere. Best case scenario, you can cover a lot more ground faster. We'll say this is the address side of the house. You'll start 1 and go clockwise, 2, 3, and 4. So when you're working on the exterior of the house, and command tells you to put fire out on an exposure, and they give you a number, and they'll say, put a deck gun on exposure side 2. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you already know this is the address side, yes, I wrote that up and down. If you already know this is the address side, and when he tells you to go to side 2, you should automatically know that you're going to go to that left-hand corner of the house. Or if they say go to exposure side 3, you're going to the back. And if it's 4, you're going around. When you get to the inside of the house, it changes from numbers to letters. And this way it doesn't confuse anybody in command on that side. And then you don't confuse whoever you're working with. So going the same clockwise fashion from the inside, and from the number, you start from your side 1, your address side of the house. You'll go to A, B, C, and D. So, and you can rotate it a little bit. You may see it a little bit differently, but you get the idea of where you're at. Depending on which way your search pattern is going, you want to make sure you know which side of the house that you're starting on. If it's just your regular, square, single-story house, if you take a right-hand search pattern and command asks you where you're at and you have a radio, don't tell them that you're on the A sector of the house, because when you start at the right, you start off in D, and then you work your way backwards. If you do the left hand, it's the same, A, B, C, D. There's also a 5th sector in the middle, and that's going to be your E sector. Now,
He wants to do it. PAR is for command to know where his crews are. Alright, so you're going to be with an officer or a senior fireman that's going to have a radio, and he's going to call PAR, and he's going to tell him, hey, we're in this sector, this is what I've got, this is who I've got. And then everybody's going to go down the line. We call a mayday or silent evacuation. If we call a mayday, he's going to call PAR right off the bat, after he gets the LUNAR from the first guy. Did you cover when Mayday's called, everybody?
pretty much shuts up and priority to whoever called it.
All right. So listen, all right, they're gonna say Mayday 3 times. Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Once command answers them, all radio traffic stops except for those 2 individuals. All right. So he's gonna call LUNAR. Command's gonna call LUNAR. Once LUNAR's established, he'll probably call PAR. And all that is so he can find out where the rest of his crews are. He doesn't know if there was a structural collapse, if we've got Devonshire or any 2-story building, if you've got somebody underneath there and the top crew came down on bottom crew and we don't get an answer from the bottom crew, now we've got a bigger problem. So that's what PAR is for.